I'm Christian Abbott.
I'm Nathan Lavender.
I'm Sean Abbott.
And this is the Red Mist Podcast.
Hello, and welcome to the Red Mist Podcast, Episode 8. Tonight, we'll cover NASCAR at Nashville, IMSA at Watkins Glen, a wild weekend there with plenty of racing action, and a recap of the NHKA doubleheader at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Nate, start us off with some NASCAR news if you have it.
Yes, it was in the Music City, Nashville Superspeedway, in Lebanon, Tennessee. It was looking to be a Hendrick race anyway, and Chase Elliott took the victory. He's actually leading the Chase standings by wins and points. So he, at least for the time being, is leading the Chase, whatever that means, right?
Well, isn't he in the Chase already?
Yeah, Chase is in the Chase.
Chase is in the Chase. And with his win, they rang the fire bell in Dawsonville, Georgia, right?
Oh, yeah, that's right. Oh, my God.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. Need more things like that.
That is a good tradition that they have.
Unfortunately, that race, it's too bad. It was, there was a lot of folks looking forward to getting back to Nashville. Great location to have a NASCAR race, especially on I wish it was a Saturday night,
Yeah. I mean, that would have made more sense.
Sunday afternoon. I mean, Saturday night is like that. That's Nashville Saturday night. But unfortunately, got really interrupted by rain throughout the event. So it turned into, I think, the 6 hours in Nashville. Just drive and survive. Let's put it that way. Hoping Netflix doesn't sue us for that broach of name calling. But we had Chase Elliott with the win. We had Kurt Busch, Ryan Blaney, Kyle Larson, and Ross Chastain running up the top five. So I think that was a all in the same lap too. Wow, there's a lot of people in the same lap. Just taking a quick peek at that. Sorry, that was good scramble to the finish there. Good return. We're starting to get into Nate, 4 races to go, I think, till the Chase. And
let's see. The first one, I believe, is around either Richmond, I believe.
Because I know New Hampshire is still part of the regular season, so it's going to be interesting to see. We got I think 4 races to settle this out, so this should be interesting to see what happens.
Especially at Road America.
And there's still some opportunity. There's some folks out there with not wins, like Truex. I forget somebody else we were just talking about doesn't have a win, but there's still an opportunity for some folks to sneak in some wins and kind of turn this thing upside down on its head. There was a great article on Racer Magazine by Kelly Crandall talking about it, and just to kind of throw some interesting light on what could potentially happen to the Chase if X number of guys win versus not winning and getting guys in on points. So it's going to be a wild next couple of races. So we'll see what happens. I think Kurt Busch is one of those ones that doesn't have a win.
He has a win.
Does he? Does Kyle?
Yeah, he actually.
Does Kyle?
Kyle Busch. Yes, I believe he does.
He does. Okay. So and then what's a NASCAR series race without crew members getting suspended for wheel infractions.
Oh, I know.
I get it when you're putting 4 wheel nuts on one wheel and you're doing 16 on a car at a time, but when you're putting 4 unilugs on, it's like, what's going on there, boys? So Chris Busch's team seemed to get hit on that, so we'll see what happens there. So that'll cover NASCAR. Let's kind of move on to Watkins Glen for a wild weekend of racing. We had Mazda MX-5 Cup racing there, 2 races, 2 Porsche America GT Cup races, 2 Super Lamborghini Super Trofeo races, the Michelin Pilot Challenge Series race, which was crazy at the end, and then obviously we had the big race on Sunday, the 6 hours of Watkins Glen, Salen's 6 hours at the Glen.
Yeah.
Sorry, and
good.
again that race went well, to the end, but then we had a little rain delay, so they had to red flag it because of lightning, and then they picked up the race, and it was a crazy finish. Just all around, for ticket value, if you're going to a race weekend, that's the race weekend to go. I suggest if you're up here in the Northeast, it's a beautiful place to go to see a race. In Michelin Pilot Challenge Series, boys from Turner Racing, just up the coast from us here, up in I guess they're in New Hampshire now. They're in Seabrook. Used to be in Amesbury, but
yeah.
it's like literally over the border. The two towns sit next to each other. Bill Arberlin and Dylan McIvern came in first with a Arberlin. Once he got in at the end, he was definitely he was on full lit because he carved his way through and got through a lot of big names that are in that series in the GT4 class. So that was great. But I think the big, not to overshadow the GT4 win or the GS win, but Robert Wickens and Mark Wilkins won TCR, and couldn't have been a better story with Wickens coming back from his, really devastating accident at Pocono. His long trail back, unfortunately he doesn't have the use of his legs. Got in the car 2 years ago at Brian Herter's kind of offering, and they set the car up with hand controls with the help of one of the other IMSA teams in the Michelin Pilot Series that has, I think, I forget the guy's name. I think Michael Lewis or somebody. Somebody's got a same situation that Robert has, and they use hand controls. They put the same setup in. They've developed it since Robert got in the car to the point where he's got a much better feel for what the car is doing. But he's also teamed with a really experienced driver and also somebody that's his old karting friend from their days in Canada. So that's a truly great story there, and hopefully something that will hopefully they can build on it. I really hope that'll pan out, that they get some more wins. They had a 3rd place finish at Daytona. They've had a little bit of a struggle lately, but there's like 16 Brian Herter Hondas running, so you got it's whichever one, they're all the same, so they all got a good group of drivers in it. So great story there. So that was fun. The Super Trofeo race was what can you say? 36 Lamborghini. What are they? Aventadors? Is that what they are?
I'm not sure.
I'm not sure right now.
Anyways, that was crazy. But both races, and they made him. Everybody made it through, so that was good. And then we had Danny Formel and Kyle Marcelli took the win on both sides of the doubleheader. So kind of interesting there. In the
Hurricanes.
Oh, Hurricanes. Sorry, the Aventador. Why did I think that? Anyway,
that was a while ago.
That was a while ago. So the Hurricanes, but man,
It's
30,
kind of
there's
like
30.
early 2010s, I think.
Yeah, but 36 of these things. And we were at the first Super Trofeo race at Lime Rock in 2015, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, that was when they had the Gallardos.
Yeah, the Gallardos, and we were the running joke was we weren't sure if any of them were going to finish because it's a Lamborghini, but man, that turned out. I think that weekend there, it actually turned out to be one of the better races too. So, anyways, but wow, the series has come a long way. So really exciting to see, and the Porsche Cup race was just another. That's just crazy stuff. Again, talking about 30-something cars there, various classes. You got pro-am, and amateur. So good stuff there. And Kai Van Briello of the Netherlands, won both races. He's been the hot shoe this year, and he was the hot shoe last year when he was going up against Sebastian Briello, and Sebastian Briello's moved on to the World Endurance Series this year. So Kai's been kind of the hot gun, and he actually had the opportunity to run at Le Mans this year. So good for him. He's continuing on his strong running in that series. So we'll see what happens. And then the Mazda, the MX-5 series, it was just a swarm of Mazda MX-5s, both races, and good stuff. Good stuff. Close racing in that. So hopefully catch that replays on I think on Peacock, and I think the IMSA, the Mazda series, you can find them on YouTube. They do post them up there. So some good stuff if you're looking for some racing action to catch up on if you missed it over the weekend for the rest of the week. All right, and then I guess the only real news of the note that come out of the IMSA weekend, there were two things that have come up. One was an in-race discussion that race director Bo Barfield had with the LMP3 teams and drivers about some of the driving standards. The LMP3s, I love the class. When they got really good drivers in there, I don't mean really good, but guys that are talented in the machines and have been in them a while, it's great. But it's starting to become a little bit more of the pay for a ride guys are getting in there, and they were kind of tripping all over themselves for the first half of the race. I know Christian and I were watching part of it, and it was like 20 minutes in, and it was already a yellow flag. Yeah. So, and it was a LMP3 thing. I think the first couple cautions were all due to an LMP3 type accident. So that was kind of interesting to actually hear that story come out. And then the other one is just starting to break right now. Is IMSA had to explain some of the post-race penalties, which had to do with drive time infringements and things like that. So I think some of these teams are trying to cut it too close, because some of the time includes the time you enter the pits and the time you leave, and the overall driving time of the guys. And a lot of these teams, especially the pro GTD teams, are trying to cut it super close. And the Rahal Letterman guys got caught, and they did not. They won the race, and they're not the winners now. And the same thing happened in the GTD AM series, where the Windward guys, same thing. Again, cut it close with getting the amateur out of the car at the minimum drive time, and yet he didn't make it. So he was short. So it's it really comes down to guys really. I think the folks on the wall need to kind of take a look at what they're trying to do.
Did the red flag at the end of the race upset that, or was that because
it did to a degree,
that's
but
actually a really good question.
It can affect that, but you have to realize you probably have to build in for that. But like with the GTD AM guys, you got to make sure they want to make the change as soon as possible, right? But they all seem to do it, and it's they try and do it too. They try and cut it too close. Have the guy go another lap. It's not going to kill you. It's a 6-hour race.
Well, yeah. Well, I only asked. I didn't.
No. But
the rest of the race to see the pit stop breakdown strategy.
The way the GTDM was working was they went with their. They went with the amateur drivers. So, like Magnus, for example, they'll go with John Potter. But Magnus never has a problem with drive time because, they got a good situation on the wall. But, both Andy Lally and Spencer Papelli, who drive for that team, are also very much in tune. They're not off wandering around the paddock, while their car's out on the track. They're on the timing stand. They're watching what's going on. And they always make sure that John goes enough. Over. So that he covers his time. Where some of these other teams, the guys are there.
Right. But is that because John's a quicker gentleman driver?
No. I think that they just feel that their pros can, whatever time they lose by having John go a little bit longer, their pros can make up.
All right. Well, maybe some teams can't.
Yeah, but some of these teams have some good guys in them.
I understand that, but like if they think it's close, then it's going to be close.
The Windward guys had some good drivers in their car.
Again, it's
so I don't know. The GTD Pro, it probably was the red flag caught some of these guys out.
Yeah,
that could have been it. But you got to
because when that came out, it was what, an hour and a half or 2 hours to go.
It was
in
an
the
hour
race?
and a half, I think, to go.
So I mean, you're talking about like if depending on where you made the
Right.
switch, right? Then,
Right, and I think
then
it's-
that can definitely
And
play
the other
into it.
problem could have been if they had 3 drivers in the car versus 2. I don't know, but
Yeah.
I'm not some. It's the pro side, it happens, but the GTD AM side, it should never happen. I'm sorry. It just the amateur driver should go the first part of the race as until the drive time's covered, and then pit, and then from that point out, and that's typically what these guys do in the 20. And that's how the rotations work. Usually, you look at the 24 hours of Daytona, the GTD AM driver drives a lot more in the first 8 hours of the race than the last 16. So
Right.
So that's that's come up. I just saw a couple stories get posted about it right before we started this recording. So hopefully get some information for the next race, which is coming up in Mid-Ohio. So we'll see what happens there.
Yeah.
All right. So, anyways, looking forward to next week. We have another big weekend of racing. We have IMSA at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park next Sunday and Saturday. It's going to be interesting. There's a bunch of teams actually in both the Michelin Pilot and in the GTD paddock that won't be going because of the vaccination rules in Canada. So kind of curious to see what's going to happen there in terms of some of the lightness in the paddock. I think we have Mid-Ohio. We have the Indycar series and the jumpy trucks. Very excited about that.
Yeah, Ryan Eversley got a lot of view time with his flip, I think, last year.
Yeah.
Was it last year or 2 years ago?
Yeah, one of the two.
Yeah. I don't know if he got invited back this year, but anyways, they were supposed to announce the starting lineup in the next day or so. And I think we have the associated series there, Indy Lights, and I think
Ernie Francis Jr.'s in Indy Lights,
yes. Yeah. Yep.
And him and Tony Stewart. Did you guys hear about this?
We saw it. We saw the highlights of it.
Yeah.
That cracked me up. No, because Tony Stewart, man, he'll go after you if you really
Tony Stewart would go after his own mother.
Yeah.
yeah.
And I say that with all due respect.
Yeah.
Right. And listen, 2004, 2005, Tony Stewart, look out. He would tear your car apart.
Well,
just to win a race.
Yeah, well, we don't. Yeah, that's fine on the track. We just don't need the violence in the paddock area.
Yeah.
I think that needs to kind of settled down, especially in that series where it's more of a show series and it's kind of a, people are coming for the entertainment value of it. I don't think we really need having fisticuffs in the paddock. So, like, guys, lighten up. Then we got, what else we got? Oh, we got the British Grand Prix, F2 and F3, I believe.
F2, F3, and the W Series.
Oh, and the W Series running there. Wow, that's great. Oh, that'll be a busy day Friday for me. Morning. When I'm supposed to be working. But anyways, so that's something to look forward to. In terms of the Grand Prix, why don't Christian, you want to give us your top 3 this time around?
Yeah, you go first. You're overdue. Have you given a little bit of thought?
Not even, because you're coming off of it's going to be a nice little reset. So I mean, who knows? Like, does Ferrari even figure it out this time or is Red Bull still going to be on it, or does Red Bull pick up more issues? I think I've said it on one of the earlier podcasts, like where it's changed already from the beginning of the season being Ferrari dominating and they're gonna win the championship no issue, and then now there's been a 90-something point swing in Max's favor to him and Perez now leading the championship in both the driver standings. Max is on top, and then Perez is in second as well, and they're and Red Bull's 1-2 in the driver standings and leading the constructors by a mile. So, I mean, anything can change. This is going to be round 10, and then we'll have, I think, Hungary afterward. No, we have Hungary and France afterwards. I don't know if that's the correct order, but then after that, those 2 races, then we go on the summer break. And I mean, you're talking. This is only the first half of the season. Like, we're not even. We still have another half to go. I mean, anything can really change. But then again, I mean, I was looking at the 2013 season with Vettel, and his first half race results were kind of top 5 mix, but not like always winning or always, you know, 5th. Like, he was jumping around. So I mean, it was a good swing. But then they came back from the summer break, and Vettel was just won out the rest of the races. So I mean, who's to say like Leclerc and Ferrari can't figure that out after the end, or maybe, you know, Mercedes comes out of nowhere and they start going up like crazy. If we're gonna go what Silverstone is, I think Max wins. I think Leclerc figures it out. No, you know what? I'm gonna go Leclerc wins it. Max is second, and Carlos third, because I think Max, you can definitely tell, is not desperate this year, and he knows he just needs to finish races and get the points. So I think Leclerc will be the desperate one to get points for this weekend and be the one to come out on top. Surprise pick for the podium. I'm gonna go Lando, because I don't know if Mercedes will botch it or what, but I think McLaren, you know, they could have a good weekend. I could also be completely wrong on this, because we haven't seen any kind of running. It's Tuesday of race week, so we don't even know what the hell is going on.
Right.
But who knows? Maybe McLaren figures it out a little bit, but because they did have a strong showing at Baku, which was a high speed track, so maybe that'll help out. But yeah. So, anyways, that's my top 3: Leclerc, Max, and Sainz. Nate.
I really like where you were going with your picks, because I'm really thinking it's going to be like at least one Ferrari on the podium. And even last year, Charles Leclerc was leading, I would say, most of the race until the very end, when Lewis Hamilton got around him with I think single digit amount of laps left. Right. So I would really consider Charles Leclerc being the victor at this race. So I'm definitely picking him to win. I think you see Carlos Sainz come second again. Kind of just that trend is happening. So I think that there's going to be another second place there for him. And Max, like your point, he's going to like not exactly, I would say, full attack, because he's looking at just rolling in the points each round versus just having 0. So I think, I'm not trying to downgrade his finish, but I just really think, you know, at worst case scenario, it's going to be third for Max. So I think you can really guarantee that almost it's at least going to be a podium for Max. So I would say even worst case scenario, he comes in third. So it's definitely going to. Ferrari, I would say they're good at the faster tracks if their engine holds up. Again, if their engine holds up, they're good at the longer straight races, I think, and Silverstone has a lot of that.
Well, I think the other thing too is, yeah, it's long straights, but it's also a very high speed section too. So because that's where the Red Bull will shine. But all right.
Oh, especially with the long sweeping corners. That's where they'll at least gain some time.
Yeah, going through Maggotts and Beckett's especially.
Right.
All right. So who's your surprise podium pick?
I would have to say, I don't know if it'll be an Alpine team per se, just because I kind of saw their pace at Montreal and realized, okay, well, it's going to fall like a rock. And team strategy. But also, I would even add, you're going to see a surprise. I don't want to say. it's like I look at one and it's like, yikes. But, I think the surprise is going to be Bottas this time. It's something is screaming my name, my name towards him.
Mm-hmm.
He's just another Ferrari car. I would say the better of the sub-Ferrari teams, if you will, including Haas. And I think Bottas has, the experience of the Mercedes at this track and has done well before.
Well, I think Joe has been doing fairly well these past couple of races. So
I would agree.
I would even say he's at or very close to Bottas's pace.
Yeah, just a little bit of bad luck the past couple of rounds, but no, he beat Bottas I think last round, right?
He did. Yes.
Yeah,
He did. Yes.
it was Baku.
I think he finished
that was
eighth,
the bad luck,
right?
but yeah, I think he got points.
Yeah, it got some solid points. It was not 10th. It was I think it was 8th.
If we're wrong, we're wrong. It's whatever.
Wrong, whatever. Yeah, but anyway, points, not one.
Yeah. All right.
So that's my surprise. Sean?
All right, so I'm gonna go with, and it's gonna be a shock. I'm gonna go with Max. I think the one thing that Max is gonna do this weekend, it's the Redemption Tour. So
Nice.
I think he's gonna. I think it's gonna be pole. I think it could be the Grand Slam pole. Win fastest lap. But it's definitely going to be a win for Max. In terms of second, I have to think Leclerc. I think the engine change will help him. And then for third, I'm wrestling with, and I'm going to go Sainz third. And
Nice.
my surprise podium is going to be George Russell.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Another hometown favorite,
Well,
including Lando.
no, I don't think. I
think Russell is probably the most realistic out of all those surprise picks.
Yeah.
Sure.
He's been kind of locked out the last few races, right?
He's been
Fourth.
He's been Mr. Consistent.
Like,
I mean,
he has,
he keeps the car
No
in
podium.
a good spot. So if any of the
Yeah.
Ferraris or Red Bulls have issues, he capitalizes.
Right.
That's what he's been doing.
Yeah, so that's kind of where I'm going to go with that. So I think it'll be kind of an interesting weekend. I cannot wait for the shenanigans to start on Thursday, and we'll see what Toto's crying about this week. So since he's got the entire paddock against him now, so it's kind of fun.
Yeah.
In that, and how many times?
I'm
do you
also
think,
gonna add-
and just a couple things to look out for. I'm just curious is like how many times Crofty's going to reference the Max getting crashed out of I shouldn't say Max getting crashed out of the race, but
How many references to last year's crash?
Last year's crash, and so that'll be great. So we'll play that up to the English audience, even though we're here in the States. So thanks ESPN. Anyways,
They're replying, you're welcome.
yeah, I know,
Wink.
and they re-up to carry it too. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
not well. I mean, the only good thing is it's commercial free, but I highly suggest pay the app and get the F1 TV app. Much better coverage. Anyways, so I think that'll move on to the big race weekend, the NHKA doubleheader at New Hampshire Motor Speedway.
Yes, sir.
This past weekend. One word to describe the weekend in all phases: hot. No humidity, but it was hot.
Yeah.
And that, but it was overall it was a fun weekend. From the practice right on through the racing. Saturday night, Christian and I got to sit in as guest fill-in hosts on the Formula Hooligan podcast.
Yeah. For the first joint podcast.
Well, joint podcast,
Yeah.
but Alex asked us to come on board because he wanted to do a podcast. We'd be more than willing to join his podcast. Charlie Hoser, his usual guest host, was not able to, co-host, wasn't able to make it up on Saturday. So Christian and I sat in on that, and that was a fun evening. Alex is a tremendous host and does a great job of keeping the conversation going, and he did a great job of rounding people up from across the karting paddock to come by, and it went a lot longer than I thought,
Yeah.
and it was one moment when I thought we were going to be wrapping it up, and then we had two more folks join us, and we were joking that we were calling it Formula Hooligan After Dark, and that literally went to about 11:45. So it was a fun time, and there was some great stories. So when Alex gets that posted, we'll give everybody kind of a heads up on it. But there was some great stuff on there and some great stories. Some of the folks that sat in on the podcast, in addition to Christian and myself, along with Alex, who hosted, was Cruz Labrie and Ian Morrison. Cruz and Ian run both in the L206 senior class, I believe.
Yeah, they both run in that class.
And then Cruz runs in the tag senior class
as well. Yeah.
Yep. And they both run in the DRT tent.
Yeah.
And I met Cruz's dad, Andre, nice guy, super nice. Had a good conversation with him on Sunday, and also he was very appreciative of Alex having us have them on. And it was actually kind of fun having them on. We learned a couple crazy stories, actually, about their kind of upbringing and stuff, and they had some great stories about Maine indoor karting.
Yeah.
I missed this. I did not know of this place, but Alex and our other early interviewee or sit-in host, Rich Hemingway, the man, the myth, the legend.
Yeah.
Rich, who's from up that way originally, but is a former, along with Alex, Christian, myself, and Nate, a former F1 Boston, X1 Boston karting league and outdoor karting person. Rich knew all about it, so they had some great stories about that place, along with what Cruz and Ian had to say. So that was fun. So really fun time. And then we had Vic Mardazian, who came on board, Madrazian, who came on board late night after dark, along with Arturo Thomas and Arturo is for folks that at the NHKA event, everyone knows who Arturo is. He's kind of the head guy under Don.
He's
kind of the
lead mechanic.
At DRT, but he's kind of the point person there. And then we had Toby and Hugo out there heckling us, as well. But Arturo came back as part with Vic after dark, and it was at that point we got some great stories. Arturo had some great stuff. He has been, I didn't realize he's been in karting for such a long time. And Alex got some great stories out of him. Some had to do with Supernats. Some had to do with some of the folks that Arturo's wrenched for. His most prominent one of date is Danny Formel, who ran in the Lamborghini Super Trofeo race this weekend and won in the pro class on both days, and also ran, I think, an LMP3, Arturo said. And I think he did quite well in that. So that was crazy. And then the craziest stuff was Arturo was at the Supernats when Michael Schumacher ran, and there was some crazy stuff there. He was telling some great stories. Yeah,
and apologies if we mispronounce anyone's name.
Vic's name, and
feel free
Arturo,
to.
You guys send us a line. We'll straighten it out. And I'll whatever you can. I'm just not that good with enunciating words, but hey, look, my name doesn't sound like how it looks. So
and I think,
right.
I think we went over that too.
Oh, we did. Yeah, we did cover that.
Yeah, we did cover that.
Rich Hemingway actually assumed that I had four fathers when I meant forefathers.
And
so that was pretty funny.
And Alex thought the pronunciation that he was saying was the right one the whole time.
It
sounded like
and we've known Alex for a while, so
but we also know. I mean, our last name gets said a little differently sometimes. We usually will take it in, it's kind of a joke or whatever, but yeah,
it was interesting. It was actually nice to talk to both Cruz and Ian. It was kind of, just to get they were both 16, 17, so it was kind of interesting to get their perspective on how they started and stuff. Like Cruz started doing dirt carts.
Yeah.
And Ian just did it through he's they were at some birthday party thing.
Yeah, similar kind of start for some of us, I guess, with F1 too. It's like you go there once and then you hear of league stuff and then you get hooked that way. So
so it was kind of crazy. It was kind of fun to hear that stuff. They were all really good guys. Just really personable kids. Hopefully everything will kind of work out in a better way. And one of the more interesting stories that came out of this was actually from Cruz. So and Rich, Rich didn't know this kid, but anyway, so Evan Slater.
Oh,
So I had heard this name, right? So Cruz.
I thought you were saying like Rich didn't know Cruz.
No, but no, because Rich was talking about indoor karting and stuff, and I guess Cruz went up there one time and did like an open date, and he was kind of quick. That was the thing, right?
Yeah.
And they said, "Oh, you're like so and so, point something off of this kid Evan Slater." Well, and I'm sitting there going, "Wow," I'm saying to myself, "I know this name from somewhere." And then Cruz goes, "Yeah, he runs in Trans Am 2 now." And I said, "That's where I know him." And I just looked it up, and Evan finished in 14th this past weekend at Mid Ohio in TA2. I mean, that's like a tough field.
Yeah.
So that was another crazy story. So good stuff there. Alex had some just great stories, and it was fun to sit in and watch him kind of run his show. It's a circus with him. So and I mean that in a great way because he does a great job. Hopefully we'll get some more. We'll do another one at another event. It's hopefully we're all.
I mean we
not dying from heat stroke.
Yeah.
When we were doing it.
Yeah. I mean we got two more 2-day weekends with Kartmania coming up in
another doubleheader
July, and then another doubleheader in August at Loudon
in the desert.
Yeah. So we'll definitely try and do a couple more of those if we can. So because it's always good to have
hopefully
everyone
we get
on
some
there.
more people on there.
Yeah.
Alex I think was really kind of hoping to get Mike Camara on. But it started kind of going, and then I think Mike was like, "I gotta go."
Yeah.
Mike was exhausted.
Yeah.
The NHKA, oh man, those guys, the crew that runs it, they had not only was it hot, it was busy. We had a lot of carts on Saturday.
Yeah.
Running them through, but then we were running counterclockwise. Yes, no, clockwise. The clockwise directions.
We ran counterclockwise on Saturday, and clockwise on Sunday.
Unfortunately, the counterclockwise was a little bit of a disaster with the timing line. Getting where the timing line is and some of the karting activity that was going on over there. Some of the guys were running off into the barriers, and who's the gentleman that does the starting? What's his?
I think Greg.
I mean, Greg sits there, and it's like, God love him, because I wouldn't be sitting there.
Yeah, I came over the around the corner a couple of times and tracked out to that wall, and I'm like, if you come in there a little bit more hot, like not only are you taking out the barriers, the timing line, you could be taking out Greg too.
Yeah, and unfortunately, the barriers, Greg didn't get taken out. But the barriers got taken out,
barriers
and then. This is where it gets a little tricky. So the junior 206 kids, guys.
I think it's
cadets,
206 cadets and 206 junior.
Yeah, they for a bit there. It's like these kids are all they're all learning. Came in there a little hot. They go off the track, and then they hit the barriers. Side by side. Hit the barriers, and then. I think even in the senior race there was a 206 senior.
There was some of the seniors.
A little bit of a cluster there. So the timing line got taken out a couple times, and the guys had to. So that took the timing loop out, which caused delays on the races and qualifying, and because they had to redig it and redo it. And then Saturday night they got it all put back together, and then Sunday morning somebody promptly took it out again. So I mean,
there was a close call, but it wasn't. It was still running the whole day on Sunday. Right. But there was a couple of close calls on Sunday.
Yeah. So I really have to give a big thanks to those folks, and then obviously the folks from the local, is the track ambulance people or the ambulance company that the track hires.
I'm not sure, but
anyways,
the ambulance, so the EMTs did a great job.
Saturday, I was asking if I could go over and get an IV. And Rich goes, I don't know if they're EMTs or not.
Yeah.
Saturday there was no. Sunday we had a couple a little bit hard crashes, but the kids, everybody's okay. Carts are bent up, but the drivers weren't, so that's a good thing. So props to them, and then just shout out to everybody that came to the event, drivers, crew, family members, things like that. So good time. Like I said, it was a hot weekend, and why don't we move into our weekend?
Yeah, recapping what we did then.
What we did. So we ran again World Formula and
Tag
Senior.
Yep.
So go ahead, Christian.
All right. Well, so let's start with race 3.
Yes.
We ran the counterclockwise direction, which I'll be honest, I think out of the two directions, I liked the most. Now, I think I can't remember in World Formula if I ran that direction last year or not, but after sitting there after this weekend, I haven't driven the road tax at Loudon outside of the preseason testing that we had earlier in the season. So track time for me really was pretty minimal. But there were a couple of videos. Nate, I know you ran there once, so I was able to watch some of your onboard to try and get a gist of where some of the breaking points are and whatnot. Granted, the access
There's ever
road,
changing
yeah,
weather conditions too.
yeah, that's right. Yeah, you did run in the rain. Yeah, so it's not like I was going in there, completely blind either.
Right.
But it definitely, me in the cart though, that was all like a first time experience. So, at least
It's a fun
in that
track.
class. Yeah, no, it is a good track. It's fun. The only complaint, but I guess it's also what gives it its character is the bumps. I mean, it really, and the batteries just died for a second there. All right. Anyways, new batteries. We're back at it.
Shoot.
Where were we?
You
Talking
were
about,
saying how bumpy it was,
yes, bumpy.
and I said it wasn't a bad track.
Yeah, it really
It's not. It's sorry. It's the track's kind of made up of a couple things. Part of it's made up of the road course at New Hampshire.
Yeah, actually, we should back that up if anyone doesn't know. Races 3 and 4 took at New Hampshire Motor Speedway in Loudon, New Hampshire. New Hampshire Motor Speedway the karting track, we don't run on the actual speedway itself. We run on what's considered the hill course section up above it.
Right,
and
not the oval.
Yeah, in combination with some of the access roads that are right behind it.
Right. As opposed to an SECA race that runs there, they use the oval, some of the infield piece of the road course, which cuts through, and then they go up onto the hill. Yeah. Which is part of, or originally, back in the day, New Hampshire Motor Speedway used to be Briello Motorsports Park. Yeah. And that was bought by the guy from Oxford. Anyways, they built the speedway up, and then it became part of one of the giant speedway groups. Yeah. But that's the track we use is a little bit of the road course and the access roads. Yeah. And it's the access roads that are the bumpy part.
Yeah. And when we talk about the bowl, that's still the original.
That goes back to Briar.
From Briar, yeah. It's, repaved, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
But still essentially the same turn.
But the rock in the middle, that's been there.
Yeah. So it is a fun track. It'll definitely beat your cart up a little bit, but and we learned that on Sunday morning. But it is a fun track.
Oh,
and then so let's go with Saturday. Saturday we ran counterclockwise, had everything set up, so we ran the opposite direction of what we ran in preseason testing.
Yep.
And I gotta say, right out of the gate, I definitely felt pretty quick and confident in both classes. And after the first two practices, I was able to just find some open space and just feel like I had a rhythm down. And then we went into qualifying, still no issues or anything like that. I mean, overall, Saturday went really smooth. And qualifying for World Formula, I went with the front group, which was still with a bunch of quick guys. There was Ryan and Kyle, and then there was someone else in there too. I think Brett was also
It was
up there.
Brad. It was
Yeah,
Brad. It wasn't
but
Will.
Brett-
Will. I would have thought it would have been Will Zuba, but Will
Juba.
got.
Yeah.
Juba. He got. I don't know. He got. Pinned
Oh
in the-
yeah, he did get
kinda
pinned. Yeah.
pinned in the
Well,
back.
so Will Juba runs 2 classes as well. He runs in World Formula Light and 206 Senior. So he was coming off of the 206 Senior race and was
Oh,
they were slow
stuck
coming.
in- oh,
Yeah,
they got
coming
stuck
up.
coming
So
up. That's too bad.
so that was that one. But yeah, so I thought I felt quick in World Formula because I mean everyone else was relatively on the same pace that I was doing in qualifying, but lo and behold, I qualified 7th for World Formula, but the top 8 were separated by
2/10.
2-3 tenths. So I mean really it's not like anyone was that's a draft basically at that track. So it was super close. So then and then we went to qualifying in the tag, and I qualified 3rd, I think, right? Dad? I thought it was 3rd.
I thought it was 4th.
It was 4th?
Yeah.
Because Mark Donato was 1st.
Yeah.
Wow, 4 days ago, and we can't remember it. That's
No, because it was like, you know what? Honestly, I wasn't Saturday. I was kind of just like with the qualifying. I was really surprised we qualified as well as I just over in general.
Yeah.
So I really wasn't focusing on the qualifying because I knew because I've gotten to the point now with this season we race better than we qualify.
Yeah.
So maybe it was 3rd or 4th. Maybe.
Yeah, one of the, regardless.
You know what? Anyways, move
Yeah.
on.
So it overall it went better than what we had from the last race at Canaan because I didn't get caught in any traffic. I'm not starting behind any tag masters. Oh, and that's the other thing. They split tag senior and tag master.
That was huge.
Which was big.
Yeah. Which honestly,
I mean, I out-qualified them to begin with, but that helped a lot though.
Yeah, that really did. I think they really need to. It's a big class. It's a bigger class than they thought, and I think, not that they're getting in the way. It's just.
Well, and I think the other thing too,
It's
with
better
this,
racing without it.
It
It's
is
split.
But the other thing too is I think the concern with that weekend was it was hot, and they were giving everyone the option of if you wanted to run less laps.
Right.
So
Right.
I think, and the way that the tag senior and tag masters field is, I'm sure the tag senior guys would want to go longer than the masters guys, and that's just
Yeah.
typically what it looks like,
I think
but-
that was a good move.
yeah. No, it was fine.
I don't have a problem on the big course at Canaan running a combined group. I don't
No.
think that's a problem. I think on these even the Canaan short course.
yeah.
I get what they're trying to do is trying to kind of compress the schedule a little bit, but
Yeah.
I think I just think that there's it's a little it's just tough with that class right
Yeah.
now. It's a 50-50 mix, and some of the masters carts, even though they weigh more, are still quick.
Oh yeah.
So it's so I thought that was a good move.
Yeah. Yeah, so then we get into the race, and so World Formula started 7th, and because Will had a bad qualifying, he was back trying to fight his way through.
Yeah.
So because he just couldn't get a lap in from what it looked like on the time sheets. So he started behind me, and I came up to him and just asked him if he wanted to try and get through the pack together, and we'll just go. And he was his whole mindset. He was saying he just wanted to finish the race and just get going because I guess his 206 race didn't end that well on Saturday.
Yeah, that one was a little. I don't, unfortunately, just didn't have time to go watch some of the other stuff.
Yeah.
So from what Alex and Rich said, there was a bit of a kerfuffle.
Yeah, because when I went over to his tent on Sunday, I saw his axle cut in two. So so they had everything
Put a new axle in.
Yeah.
Hey, jeez. So, hopefully no new bearings, but
so then the World Formula race went well. We both Will and I moved up from 7th, and I think he was 9th because he started right behind me.
9th to 10th. Yeah.
So then both of us moved up from 7th and 9th to 4th and 5th at one point in the race, and then we were catching Nick and Cooper.
Yep.
Ryan was out far ahead.
Ryan checked in the lead. Out. Yeah.
And
great job.
Yeah, and so I was trying to catch Nick and Cooper, got close to him, but I didn't have enough to pass him, and plus they were going back and forth a little bit too, and it wasn't.
You can't get a really solid read.
No, and plus
nothing against those guys. It's just you haven't raced them, so it's hard to get a solid
I really
read on
haven't. I really haven't raced with them a whole lot, but also we got a race on Sunday that we wanted. So and then Kyle threw his chain.
That's
earlier in the race too.
So that moved everybody up.
Yeah, because
he was up
first
front.
or second.
He was first.
Points,
it was
and
he and Ryan were up front.
Yeah,
and then Kyle threw the chain.
Yeah. The best way to put.
Actually, let's rephrase that. Kyle threw the chain. And Sunday it got better.
Oh yeah, and then
for Kyle. Oh man.
But in terms of the championship for World Formula, I think the best way to describe that class is IndyCar, because all you need is consistent finishes.
Yeah.
Because one weekend can really set you back if you have a bad one.
Yeah, I mean Ryan had a bad one at Canaan.
And
the first race that you podiumed on. I think he fought back for a 6th place. Maybe it might have been a top.
No,
he fought back, but he had the race in hand.
Right,
and he got caught. He got tripped up by a back marker.
Yeah.
So,
but yeah, and then so then me and Will caught up to Nick and Cooper, and then Will was doing a lot of help from the getting through, but I could tell he had the pace because he was giving me a tap going down the hill pretty much every single lap. No bump drafting, but
no, he gave just to let you know he was there.
Yeah, give me the little hurry up of like, all right, I'm there. But yeah, he ended up getting me on the second to last lap, which I figured he would have tried it at some point, so I wasn't gonna fight it. And he ended up getting 4th. I finished 5th for that in World Formula for Saturday's race, which was fine. Good start to the weekend. Top 5 result. Just take the points and move on. Tag started. I think I started 3rd because then I ended up finishing the race 4th. Yeah, that's what it was. And then, because Mark started on pole, Dexter started 2nd, I started 3rd, Hugh was 4th, and Alex was 5th. That's what it was. So that was the starting order for the top 5 in Tag Senior on Saturday. And then, so Mark went out in the lead, and he just kind of checked out from there. So he got the win for the day there. But then for 2nd, there was Dexter, myself, Hugh, and Alex. And I don't actually, did Hugh drop off? I can't remember.
He did. He dropped back a bit.
A little bit, yeah.
You guys separated.
Oh no, Hugh was. So it was the 4 of us battling, and then Hugh
off in front.
He dipped wheels right in front of me, and that's how I got
from the left side to the right side, right, and then
he just ran out of some track there. But yeah, the four of us were running nose to tail for almost the entire race, and it was a great battle. So yeah, and then so after Hugh dipped his wheels, then I got to fourth, and then Dexter and Alex finished as they did, second and third. Yeah, Dexter finished second.
Yep.
Yeah. And then so I got fourth there. They had a little bit more pace than I did.
Did Dexter finish? He did. Gomes finished third, right?
Yeah, I think so. Alex, if you want to correct us on that, you can.
Hold on.
And then
Because you're both running for the championship, right? So I mean, aren't you like first or second, or like what's?
So the way the championship is Mark is out in front.
Running away with it.
Yeah.
Although, and he has, so this weekend, here's the thing. He's got you know what? He could, you get one drop.
Yeah.
So the problem is if you don't show up at another double.
Yeah.
He
has a zero.
Drop
that's a zero.
Yeah. Race.
Yeah, the drop is fine, but
so then
he did a drop on Sunday.
Yeah, so Sunday came. Mark wasn't there, so we were going to have either Alex be a repeat winner or we were going to have a new winner on Sunday in tag. Yeah. So on Saturday, just to recap, finished fourth in tag and finished fifth in World Formula. So good day, top 5 finishes. So moving on to Sunday. We got up and had everything set from the night before. We had our joint podcast the night before, all fun. And we were all looking forward to Sunday. I go out in the morning in World Formula, and halfway through the session, my clutch just falls off going up the hill.
No way to describe it.
There was no warning or anything like that.
It basically backed its way down the keyway.
It looked like the bolt that held it on
so
just
the bolt
vibrated loose
from all the stuff on Saturday.
Yeah.
But it backed its way down the keyway, so it didn't just like go boom and explode or anything.
No, it just like loosely fell off. Yeah.
And when Christian noticed that there was something wrong with the cart, so as he went up the hill, he went straight off because there's a little bit of a run-off road.
Yeah.
And when he got there, the clutch fell, like the backing just all fell out.
Yeah. When I finally came to a stop, I stopped and it kind of like stopped, and then I dragged the cart forward, and then it all fell out.
So we were actually able to. To pick up all the pieces.
Yeah. And the only thing I couldn't find was the bolt itself.
Which fortunately we have enough.
We had a spare for that, which was fine.
We found everything.
Yeah.
Went back out, and then we went into tag practice. I took the cart down to the tent, got it laid out so that we could get to work on it.
Yeah.
The tag practice went well.
Good. Yeah.
I mean, the only thing was we had no front grip because the tires were shot.
Yeah. So I pretty much, and fortunately that was the clockwise direction, so I knew the track a little bit more from preseason testing, so I didn't have to worry about that. Plus, having run the day before, I mean, I pretty much knew the grip and the tires,
right,
and the and just running there in World Formula last year, I mean, that helps with the experience too. So it's, again, I'm not the only difference this year was I haven't run the Rotax on that track, so just a different speed. That's easy to adjust to.
But
at least for me,
so that went. We felt good with, even though we knew we were going to put the tires on, the race tires on from the previous day for qualifying for today. So we did the tires we used Saturday were brand new. We qualified on them, used them in the race, took them off, put an old set on for practice for both practice sessions, and then put the used set that we used the day before on for qualifying and practice. In the meantime, we kind of decided to forgo practice 2 with the World Formula.
Yeah, I was probably, if I didn't run Tag Senior, I could have gotten that thing back up and we could have made second practice.
We could have, but I think it was more important to get the tag out there.
So it was fine. So then qualifying came, and I decided to, based off of off of Saturday, for Sunday, my mindset going into qualifying for World Formula was to just get open space. I didn't even want the draft. And because I felt that I could have been quicker just driving by myself. And honestly, I think I figured out some breaking points and some turning points, which actually helped a lot more. So then with the World Formula, I think I ended up qualifying third. And then, was it third?
Yep.
Yeah. So finished. So then got into the race and let's see. Will got pole that time. So I was right behind him. So for the start, he went super slow on the start, and like for starting pace, and we came up to the first real breaking point, and there was a good pack of 4 of us, I guess, and Ryan got in between Will and I, and then I think I dropped back to 4th because Cooper was in the mix as well. And then so then the race keeps going on, and then Cooper comes out of the, I guess what you call the first turn after the start finish line, which is a left-hander going onto the road course section and going down into the bowl, and he clips one of the cones that's on the outside of the track, and it rips his rear bumper off, so he gets black flagged. So then I get up into third from that, and then I was pretty much just trying to chase down Will and Ryan, and I was pretty much on their bumper for the remainder of the race, and then and I guess Nick got caught up behind Cooper because I guess it took because we were running close too for like the next lap or two, me, Cooper, and Nick, and they were trying to black flag Cooper because he just didn't he couldn't tell that his rear bumper was broken off. So when he finally got the memo that he had to come off, he pulled off, but that held Nick up a little bit and allowed me to get away and catch up to Will and Ryan. And then we were about. I was figuring if I was going to make any move on these two guys, it would have been on like the second to last lap or the last lap on when one of them would have been going for the win, and just trying to like pick up the scraps, I guess. And but I for some stupid reason, I decided to look back to just kind of check on and make sure, or just see where 4th place was. And my neck brace, the Velcro, came loose. So, and for that, for anyone in NHKA, if you lose your neck brace, that's an automatic black flag. So my whole goal was to just hold on to that thing and just take it home and finish third. So that was it. So I ran I ran most of those last laps just with my head, my helmet pushing down the neck brace onto my shoulders just to make sure that thing stayed on, because I knew third place points would be way better than none. So I ended up finishing third, and I actually came pretty close to Ryan and Will there at the end because they were battling in the last couple of laps too. So I guess I missed the opportunity, but at the same point, happy with the points in the podium there for third.
Right. I mean, that's big points in the pocket. So
right. Yeah. So
I
I mean,
you got to put a podium out of it.
Especially in that field, it's it's super tight. There are some of the world Formula heavyweight guys who are quick and get in there, and you got to kind of deal with that. So it's definitely a driving. It's a racing class. I mean, in the sense that you really got to qualifying doesn't really show what the potential is. Because once the guys start dicing it up, it's the guys that know how to race that move forward. Ryan is really good at that.
Yeah.
Okay, granted, he can qualify on the pole, and when he qualifies on the pole and gets away, it's pretty much lights out, but he's very consistent at turning very quick and consistent laps. The guys that kind of have those moments, as I like to refer to them as the fuck moments, is like, what the fuck happened there? They just, guys just lose their concentration. They slip wide, and you slip under them in the bowl or something, and you get a run, and you pass. And once you're passing, you can turn some. It's all about being consistent in that class and turning fast times. I mean, sometimes it's better to lay off a guy for a couple laps, build up your momentum, turn some quick laps, and then you're right back on them, and then you catch them and go by them and things like that.
Yeah.
So, it's a tough class. Anytime you can walk away with a top 3 in that class, it's I think a good feeling. And the way that class is this year, the points are all over the place.
Yeah.
I mean, Kyle had 2 bad races.
Yeah.
So he took a big hit in the points. Hopefully, I'm sure he's probably going to use one of them. One of those is going to be a drop round.
Yeah.
But now he's, that hurts.
Yeah. No, definitely a tough weekend for him. So
tough weekend for him.
He'll be back at the front though. So,
right. He will be. But it just shows that you need to be consistent in that class.
Yeah. It's tough.
So.
All right, so last but not least, tag senior.
Yes.
Qualifying, I was second by, I don't know, 300. Yeah, 300ths.
Yeah, 300.
It was
close.
So Cruz got pole, so Mark wasn't there today, so there was a chance for someone else to win today.
Cruz got pole.
Cruz got pole. I got second.
Bryce got third. Hugh got fourth.
Yep. And then Alex got fifth. Yeah. So then,
Interesting lineup.
Alex got fourth because he started behind me.
He started behind you.
Yeah.
Hugh started behind him. Hugh was behind him.
So he was sixth.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Hugh got a better start than Alex.
Yeah. Yeah, because then we go now Sunday, we're running clockwise. So we're going down into I guess on both days we're starting going down into the bowl, and then you come up and then
just in
go
different
out.
directions.
And just in a different direction. But this way, so the start, Cruz got a better start than I did, and my motor bogged a little bit at the start. So I just didn't have the start there. So I was like, all right, well, it's going to be a little bit of work. Bryce went with Cruz, so they both got by, and then we went up to the crossover where it's kind of decreasing right, and then it's a quick left that you hop over to get to the other side of the track to make that crossover to the other side of the hill course there. And as I was before I was turning in, I saw Hugh on my inside too. I was like, all right, well, I can't really drop back too much, so I was able to position myself where I hung it around the outside and went side by side with him, and then I ended up coming out of that crossover still in third, so I was like, all right, well, let's now go catch him. And so Cruz and Bryce were ahead of me, and so I ended up catching up to them. And from what I heard after the race, I guess Hugh just put on he just became the minister of defense and just couldn't let Alex by.
I don't think it was the minister of defense. I think Hugh outpaced Alex by a bit.
Okay.
All right. There wasn't any blocking going on. Hugh was just quicker in certain spots.
Yeah.
And Alex just couldn't get past him.
Yeah.
Hugh doesn't have mirrors, so he was chopping and stuff, but it wasn't that from where I was standing. I mean, Hugh gapped them at one point towards the end of the race. So, that's where that battle was.
Mm-hmm.
But you guys had gapped them by a significant margin.
Yeah. So the three of us got away, and then Oh, and in between the World Formula race and the tag race, I switched neck braces, so I didn't have that issue.
Yeah, I think going forward that neck
Yeah,
brace.
Yes. Yeah.
You made sure it was extra tight that race.
No.
No,
I
he's
have another one that's like a buckle, and so I need to just be using that one.
It? Next gen or something. It's the one I
It's
bought.
it's
really
it's
good.
360 device.
360 device. Yeah,
is
it's
the
good.
label on the back. So
It's a little bit uncomfortable, but it doesn't come undone.
no. So anyways, so the three of us kind of break away, and honestly, like, Cruz was first, Bryce was second, I was third, and I was just sitting there, and I'm like, I know I could have thrown it down, or I was trying to find one of those the fuck moments where I could just slip it up the inside and make the move on Bryce and Cruz, and because both of them had a little bit more top speed than I did, but I was getting a better acceleration and pull out of the corners. So I knew I was going to either have to make the pass going into the bowl or going making a braking move into the back hairpin.
Right, but while that's all going on, Bryce is running Cruz down.
Yeah.
And,
so then
and Bryce got by him.
Yeah. He made a move down and going down into the bowl, and then and had the inside there, so he made the pass there, and then either a lap or two later, I made a similar kind of move on Cruz as well, and got up the inside. So now I was chasing down Bryce,
and I just think in that aspect, I think that's more just racecraft than anything.
Yeah.
Experience in the tag senior class. I mean, Bryce has a significant amount of experience there, as well as you do. You both raced each other back at F1, X1. So, and you guys raced in a very competitive tag senior class back then. So, I think that was more racecraft than anything. Hopefully Cruz will take a few things, maybe learn something from that.
Yeah.
He definitely had pace, but it I don't know if it was. He was doing two classes. I don't know. You never know. But, there was definitely some... The two passes on him were definitely setups that you guys both executed perfectly.
Yeah.
And then, you guys were able to drive away from Cruz and then had your own skirmish.
Yeah. So then... so we're going, and we got the halfway flags, and then I'm like, all right, well, knowing Bryce, he's super consistent. And just it's always the same breaking point. It's always the same movement. So there's nothing that's going to surprise me, but it is going to take, either better driving from myself or just the tiniest of slip from him for me to get by. So I knew I had to be on his bumper the whole time in order to pounce. And, the laps are winding down, and I was like, all right, we're getting close, 4 and 5 to go, and then sure enough, with 2 laps to go, we come out of the back hairpin, and I just get a better drive off the corner and is able to slip it up the inside going into the little left-right chicane before the penultimate corner, before the last corner, and yeah, so then I took the lead, and for the last 2 laps, I knew Bryce had the top speed on me, so I moved to the inside to defend going up the hill, because I knew I was going to try and force him to go around the outside at any point. But I guess I gapped him a little bit.
You actually gapped him when you made the passing game down the back straight.
Yeah.
Into the final corner before the start finish line. You had gapped enough where it was going to take a mistake on your part for Bryce to get by.
Yeah.
Because you had driven at that point. It was all very consistent, and it still remained consistent laps.
Yeah.
So,
but yeah, and then. So then the white flag came out. I almost took a second glance at Greg, because when I came across
starter.
Yeah, he's a starter, and the guy throwing the flags at the start finish line there, and when I went by, he was like just pulling out the white flag, and I was like, oh, okay, like I hope that's what it means. And then I came by the for the finish and had my fist up. I was like, all right, sweet. And then I also came around the last corner, and usually there was another staff corner worker that would pop out, not onto, well, yeah, they would come out onto the track a little bit, but would direct you into the pits, and he wasn't there. And I was like, should I go another lap? But then I made eye contact with everyone on the pit, on the pit wall and in the paddock there, and they were all clapping and cheering, and they were like, all right, no, I'm like, it's over. So then everyone pulled in, and no mistakes there, because I've done that before where I've pulled in a lap early, and that's not fun. So yeah, so a nice win to cap off the weekend and roll that into Kartmania.
That's awesome. Way to wrap it up.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's so cool. And is that your first win at Loudon?
Yeah, that's first win at Loudon. I haven't ran the road tax there.
That was the first race with the tag there.
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
I guess Sunday would be the second race, but
yeah.
First weekend there.
Yeah.
First weekend. Yeah. First weekend. No, same idea. I mean, it's a different layout compared to Saturday anyway. So I mean, I'd say it's a first, regardless. I mean, still, that's an incredible victory, and what a way to get it too, with like 2 laps to go and make it really, razzle dazzle, if you will.
No, it was a great race.
Yeah.
So I'm still smiling
like a classic. Yeah. Oh my God, yeah, dude, go crazy.
So and everyone too after the race, and it definitely hit me as I was walking around, seeing everyone come up and congratulate him too. I mean, thanks to everyone too. It meant a lot. So, good to see everyone smiling and happy for each other too, because and that's the bonus about this group, is like everyone's happy for everyone no matter where it is, and we just all want to see everyone have a good time.
Exactly.
So
now you're heavily recognized on the podium.
Yep.
Yeah.
So next up is July 23rd, 24th?
24th and 25th.
24th, 25th, right?
Mm-hmm.
Up at Canaan, it's Kartmania. Saturday, the 24th, will be practice and qualifying.
Yep.
And then Sunday, I'm assuming Sunday's going to be a practice session and then the race.
Yeah, I hope we have a warm-up session at least.
Yeah, I don't think
that'd be nice.
I think that's usually how that works. The races will be, I think, 30 minutes.
Yeah.
So we'll have one 30-minute race in each class. So it should be a fun time. We'll be hopefully on the big course.
Yeah.
If the weather doesn't intervene.
Yeah. Any rain will be on the short course.
So hopefully we'll see how that goes. And it should be a fun time. And waiting just I think hopefully the end of the week or so we'll have the points from the NHKA folks to see kind of where everything shakes out and that. But big shout out to once again to the NHKA folks for another great weekend. Was well run, kept moving. Unfortunately, the timing loops kind of put a snag in it for a bit. Not their fault because they fixed it. But should be looking forward to next race. Hopefully it'll be a fun weekend again.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you have all the momentum on your side, so I mean, hell, give them some hell.
Yeah, well,
we'll see.
I mean,
we'll see. I mean, every race is different.
Yeah, it's a new race weekend, so you gotta just kind of not forget, but you gotta put it to the side, and it's brand new. You can't just run off the last weekend. So
I think one of the things we learned from this was we were prepared ahead of time.
Yeah.
So I think we need to do the same thing. Obviously the karts are going to need a good go through from New Hampshire. Yeah. It's totally different than running at Canaan in terms of the surface. So we have to make a couple gear front sprocket changes because of
the gear. It's just different.
The larger track. So
yeah.
We have to talk about that. So that wraps up that weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that wraps up this episode of the Red Mist Podcast.
Yeah. Nate, you got anything else?
Nate, anything else on the way out the door? Any touring kart championship races? Anything else you want to time us on?
They were just at Foxwoods, and they had the Ignition Grand Prix.
Why weren't you there?
I had work.
Oh.
I
Oh.
gotta get paid here and there.
Yeah,
but
work.
so that got in the way. But I tell you, no. And I went to Lionel Richie with Stefan, so that was really fun.
Lionel Richie, great.
Do you like Lionel Richie, Sean?
I would go karting. I like Lionel Richie, but if I had a chance to go karting, I would go karting. If I was in karting shape. Nothing against Lionel Richie concert tickets.
No, listen.
But anyways,
that's fun. Anyways,
that's fun.
great night at Mohegan's on. That was really fun.
Yeah.
But anyway, might digress. But I tell you, what I heard from Alec Vidal and Matteo Giuliano, I guess there was something up with the gas-powered karts where it was like there was like 5 or 6 in one heat, one of the pre-finals, and the karts were overheating. And then what ended up happening
were
was
they overheating or were they getting vapor lock?
I didn't hear the term vapor lock, so I couldn't tell you. I wasn't
if you
there.
remember correctly, that used to happen at F1
At
Outdoors.
F1 Boston. Yeah. Oh, F1 Outdoors. I'm sorry.
Remember the karts, and Matt would pick them up, and
Yep.
it's like the fuel would drop down, and then it would get So just curious, because like heating, there's no.
That could have been the case actually.
Those are air cooled motors.
There's no such thing as overheating.
Yeah, it's not. It doesn't have a radiator like the Tag Seniors do.
All right. So maybe it's a fuel lock
it might have been. It could have been vapor lock. Yeah.
A vapor lock. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yep.
But anyway, and then they turned it to electric. So I think they probably ran the first gas to electric race.
So they're running all electrics at.
They have both.
Yeah, they have a fleet. They not all
can you
electric, but
pick?
they have a fleet.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, because I think they wanted to go. They wanted to do gas, is what it sounds like, and then they had to switch over because they had issues.
Oh, all right.
Yeah. So,
What if
So
the
the first
batteries
gas
catch
to
fire?
electric race in the U.S. or world
I
or
haven't seen that yet. Karting battery. Like, what am I talking about? I got 2 lithium batteries sitting in my kitchen right now. But anyways, so I'm looking forward to. It's a busy weekend of racing here. It's it's July 4th weekend too. This is gonna be tough. Trying to work in everything. I don't think I'm gonna have to catch the IMSA race on replay.
yeah.
And I need to get to work on the kart at the Ritmus garage.
Yeah.
yeah, the Red Mist headquarters.
Our secret lair.
Yeah, beware.
Yeah, well, we got to do it. We have to catch up on a couple things after this. So, in terms of some parts,
Yeah.
I have a couple issues. So, anyway, so let's why don't we wrap this up? Appreciate everyone joining us. Again, thanks to the folks who sat in with Alex on the Formula Hooligan podcast. Great meeting you all. Appreciate the stories. Appreciate the insight, and look forward to seeing those folks again soon. And we look forward to talking to you all next week. Hit the like button. If you like us,
The 5 stars
5 stars. Send us a rating.
on Spotify.
We're looking
definitely
for
go-
sponsors.
Definitely go follow Formula Hooligan as
Formula
well.
Hooligans, yeah.
So
yeah.
they're on
And
Spotify
I'm just going to
and-
give another shout out to the guys at eKarting News. They have a podcast out there. So can you guys fill a second so I can find this?
Nate, you got any other shout outs or plugs?
Plugs, yeah. The touring car
Well,
guys.
no,
I mean, we just went through
Christian,
time,
you
yeah.
get the shout out this time because that's
Okay,
a
I got
big
it.
W. I'm just
All right.
hey, you know what? Listen,
So the eKarting
it's
News,
a W.
yeah,
Yeah.
the eKarting News guys, they have this podcast. It's called the EKN Radio Network, and it's hold on one second. Nate, it's Rob Howden and Dave Cole, and they do a great job on this. And they had some wild, I don't want to say wild, but they had some great stuff from a couple of the supercarts, national races and stuff. And they get to a lot of the races. They're up in Portland this weekend or this past weekend, so or
Right.
whatever. But they do a great job of doing it. And Rob, I think Rob's the guy that's when we were watching it on the Supernats on YouTube. I think Rob's the Book It guy. And Book It.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they do a great job. No, they got a great job, and it's great insight, and they have some great. It's really worthwhile. They have some really tremendous sponsors on it too. So like comic cards, things like that. So folks that are in the karting scene, give those guys a listen to. From a national perspective, I think it's great to kind of catch up on that stuff. I think that's something that we'd like to try and do, get a little more national, but that requires a bigger budget. So
Yeah.
like I said, hit that subscribe button, hit the 5-star link, whatever. Just like we can get.
Send us your money, please.
Please. Yeah, we might set up a Patreon account.
No one will get hurt.
We might set up
Oh my God.
a Patreon account. You guys can come in and see us do this.
I
on
mean,
video.
not that I like to run, in all white car. It's
Oh, white.
Right, or
It's all-
drive it like
what are
you
you talking
stole
about?
it.
It's all black.
it's all but everyone with no sponsor
the
shows
World
up with the
Foreman- the
shows
World
up with the
Foreman's
all
all
white.
black,
yeah,
and we got the CRG sticker
Yeah.
on there. Anyways, so but the eKarting News Radio Network, EKN Radio Network. Sorry, give those guys a listen to. They're good stuff there. And hopefully, we'll talk next week. Big weekend of racing. We'll each come with kind of a wrap up of everything. Oh yeah, and just quick sports car thing. The European Le Mans Series is at Monza this weekend as well.
Oh, jeez.
So,
Oh,
the
that's
good
always
thing
a
is that's
fun one to watch.
That's a get up early on Saturday. I think. I don't think they race Sunday. I think they race Saturday.
Yeah.
So that's a get up early Saturday. But the following weekend is the 6 hours of Monza.
Wait. You just said the same thing.
No, the following weekend, the weekend after, July 10th. July 10th and 11th.
Yeah. What did you say was this weekend?
European Le Mans.
Oh.
The World
I got you.
Endurance.
Sorry.
The World 6 hours of Monza, the World Endurance.
Yeah.
I think the European Le Mans, I think it's a 4-hour race.
Yes.
I
gotcha.
July 10th and 11th is the 6 hours of Monza.
Yeah.
Now, I'll just throw this out. That's a great weekend.
Yeah.
That's a great week to
Yeah.
spend in Monza. I mean, I can't even tell you how much food I'd eat in that time frame, but that
I'll
is.
join you, Sean.
Yeah, I know, but it's a great area to be because you can go to Ferrari, go to Lamborghini, go to Maserati, you can go to Alfa Romeo.
Mm-hmm.
They're all in the area, and then just some of the sites up in Milan, outside of Monza. It's a
It's
tremendous
20
area.
minutes away.
Yeah, you really
Yeah.
are. It's a tremendous area to go for, and you know what? A week there would be kind of fun for those 2 race weekends. I hate to say that. That's a cool weekend. And the big thing at the World Endurance race in 2 weeks is Peugeot
Yes.
will be breaking out their new car. And this past weekend we had the Porsche 963 brake cover,
Yep.
and that is one sexy looking beast.
Masterpiece. Yeah.
There was some leak photos too of the Cadillac.
And there was
as well.
a teaser of the Lamborghini.
Yes.
And Christian was like, Christian goes, if it looks anything close to that, it would be amazing because
Yeah.
it was badass teaser.
Well, Ferrari hasn't unveiled
Yeah,
anything,
they're
but they're
they
saying
put
that
out a
they're
teaser.
doing
They-
another one
like,
as well.
how many
Yeah,
teams are there?
BMW 's gonna do-
BMW. So
Yep.
BMW this was awesome though. The Festival of Speed at Goodwood this
Yeah.
weekend, that's going on my hit list. That's another thing. You go to Festival of Speed and then go to the British Grand Prix. I mean, wow. I mean, you can stay in. You go to Goodwood, stay in London, and then go to you can't go wrong with that because London for 3 days is like fun.
Yeah.
It's one of the best cities I've ever visited. Just walking around and just hanging out. The BMW what are they? They run an They run a GTP car. Is that what they're calling it? LMD.
Next podcast we'll sort everything else.
But they had it up, so they have that sculpture in front of the Goodwood house.
Mm-hmm.
They had it at the top of the.
Okay.
They had a model of it at
Yeah.
the top of that spire. I mean, I was just like, can't you guys in Porsche just break it all right down?
Yeah.
But it was. I didn't think. I thought the 963 might break cover at Watkins Glen, but it didn't. It broke cover at Goodwood, and Dane Cameron took it up the hill. I mean, he just took it on an exhibition run up the hill. So
Yeah.
a dynamic test. So that was cool, and it was great to see that car. The livery looked awesome.
Yeah.
So very old school on that. But yeah, we're heading into some heady times, and big shout out to the guys at Glickenhaus. I mean, someone like Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk or somebody sponsor these guys. because if they go away, I'm gonna miss these guys.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
they I mean, seriously, they finished third to Toyota.
Yeah.
I mean, I know. We had 5 cars in the class. They finished third and fourth. They finished the race, and they're working on like the budget that they're working on is ridiculously not even close to what Toyota's using.
Yeah.
So
Right.
the guys from Glickenhaus put out some great stuff where they put the Glickenhaus next to the Porsche and said, "Great to see our friends for next year," and stuff like that. It was really all in good fun. But I mean, hey, all props to those guys. I mean, I like Glickenhaus. They're the underdog. But that was good. And what else? Yeah, so I'm hoping. Yeah, I hope the Lamborghini breaks. Oh God, if that looks like that teaser.
That'd be so nice.
The prototype category in sports car racing is
the Cadillac.
It's going to be a golden
If
era.
that's the Cadillac, what they showed, that thing is.
Yeah.
That's a bomb right there.
Yeah.
Another
Acura,
monster.
I guess Acura has been told to go back and sex theirs up a little bit, which I find hard because I think the Acura even right now looks kind of cool.
I know it does.
I didn't think the Cadillac would look any better, but it does. But
Yeah.
I mean, like because I thought the Acura when it came into LMDH, I said like, spot on. It looks like it looked good. It looked like it had kind of an NXX profile in the front, but they've been told to kind of sex it up a little bit. So I don't know. That's what I heard. But anyways, so it's gonna get crazy. And Jesus, see all the stuff happening. I just remembered. So we had our first announcement of our first IMSA privateer team. JDC Miller will be running a Porsche. They got aced out on the Cadillac program, so they went to the Porsche, and that's big news for that team. That's great news. And then Jota, this is crazy. This story. So they got a 3-year sponsorship deal from Hertz, plus a 2-year option, as well as the folks from Singer. And if you guys don't know who Singer is, they do Porsche conversion cars, and I suggest that you follow somebody like Patrick Long or somebody like that's in the Porsche know. He follows a lot of the Singer stuff, and he has them at Lift a Cult. The Singer Porsches are crazy, and they're part of that deal too. And then the team's going to be run by Jota, which is a phenomenal LMP2 team. They've run some really good drivers. Harry Ticknell, just.
Do they have Ollie Jarvis?
Ollie Jarvis, and
do they have Oliver Webb?
Oliver Webb, because he filled in for Buemi when Buemi got called up to the Audi team that year. And then so it was Ticknell, Webb, and Dolan won there. Did they win when we were there in LMP2? I don't know.
Well, what's the documentary?
Journey to Le Mans. If you ever want to see a good story about Jota and who they are, that's the story. That team, I'll tell you what, they're cool. They're kind of like the Dyson team back here in America back in the day. It's you can't do anything but root for either. Like you couldn't when Dyson was running, you couldn't root for anybody but Dyson. It was awesome. Jota is like, those guys are good. They run a GT3 program now too. So hopefully they're hoping to run both. So hopefully it won't get impacted. But I mean, it is pretty heady. There's big news coming about the drivers from what I heard. The news broke today about the sponsorship deal and all that in terms of how that broke down with Hertz. So that was good. So if you get a chance, if you want to stay in tune with that, I would follow dailysportscar.com for that. They're tied in. Graham Goodwin, who is the editor-in-chief there, he's tied in with the Jota guys in terms of knowing them for a long period of time. And then he broke that. He actually brought that up on the Inside Sports Cars with Marshall Pruitt today. Yesterday. Well, it got released yesterday, but they brought that up, and then he released the story today about the Hertz sponsorship. So it was pretty cool. So good stuff there. A lot of heady stuff coming in sports cars. So I'm kind of looking forward to the Peugeot. I don't really care where it finishes. I just want to see that thing on the track. I think it's going to be cool. That's just the first step. And then the Porsche will be out in Bahrain. That is the big news. So I don't care. Like those cars finish dead last. I could care less.
It's just testing.
It's just testing for them.
It's
And
just
I just want to see them on the track.
Yeah.
But there is some great concepts there. and looking forward to seeing what else comes out.
All right.
So why don't we wrap it up with that?
Yeah.
Sorry to drag that out. I know brought that up earlier.
Big typical
But-
Italian goodbye there.
Yeah, well, couldn't let it go.
Yeah.
But anyways, so a lot of stuff. Hope everyone has a great week. Good weekend. Hope somebody, folks catch some of the racing activity. Don't have to catch it all. You can set your DVR. You can find it on YouTube. But hope you all have a good week, and we'll talk to you next week.
Yes.
All right.
Good night.
Thanks, Nate. Take care.
You too.
Thank you guys for listening to the Red Mist Podcast, hosted by Christian Abbott, Sean Abbott, and Nathan Lavin. It's produced by Christian Abbott, and music is by Alex Wart and Harrison Tate.